Don't be in a hurry to scroll. Just give me your attention for a few minutes. Charlie Kirk was an American activist and writer. He was an author and a debater, right? He's the founder of Turning Point USA, which was founded in 2012. He was born in Chicago, so he's American. I've been following him for quite a while. He's also very conservative in values and very right-winged, and he's a Christian. A few days ago, he was assassinated at Utah Valley University, where he came to host one of his famous debates. If you've never seen any of his debates, you can check them out. He's famous for having debates with college students, and he's really good at that. I've seen people say a lot of things that Charlie Kirk deserves to be shot and killed because he was spreading hate and harmful rhetoric. Charlie Kirk was not a perfect person. None of us are. But even in his imperfection, Charlie Kirk stood for the right things. For instance, marriage is between a man and a woman. Charlie Kirk stood for it. Charlie Kirk also stood for the right to bear arms, to defend yourself. Charlie Kirk advocated for gun ownership, not for gun violence. There's a difference. It's okay for you to have a gun in case you are ever getting shot at, in case you ever need a gun to protect your family from armed people, from intruders. Dare I say, life would have been much easier in Nigeria if we were allowed to have guns because of the rate of the insecurity in this country. Deliberately twisting what Charlie Kirk stood for just so that you can take a jab at him is so stupid and demonic of anybody. And you should be ashamed of yourself. He didn't want men dressed in women's clothing, and I'm talking about transgenders, to infiltrate women's spaces. He was against abortion. If you think a child is not a baby until it is born, you are proving Charlie Kirk's point, and you're proving my point that you are a very stupid person. Because we all know that life does not begin at birth, it begins at conception. And if you say it's not a baby because it's still a zygote, it's still in the womb, one of the significances of life is growth. Anything that is alive will grow. If it's not alive, why is it growing inside of a woman? Why is it growing? Why is it feeding? Why does it have a heartbeat? Why does it have a pulse? Why is it increasing in size and mass? Those of you also accusing Charlie Kirk of being a racist, most things Charlie Kirk says about the black race is accurate to a certain level. Black people in America make up 13 to 18% of the population, but they commit the most crimes. A few days ago, there was a Ukrainian girl who closed from work and got on a train to go home from work. She worked at a pizzeria. She was very harmless. She sat down, she was minding her business. She took out her phone, she was on her phone, minding her business, waiting for the train to get to her destination. A black person seated behind her pulled out a pocket knife and slashed her throat numerous times. There were other black people in that bus or in that train who saw this guy attack this innocent woman, killed her. While he was doing that, nobody even tried to grab him. Nobody tried to approach him. This is a man with a knife, not a gun. Nobody tried to approach him. Nobody tried to apprehend him. They just watched him kill her. And even after he was done stabbing her and she was bleeding, nobody even tried to call the police or call an ambulance or even help her get to the hospital. They sat there and they watched her die. Mind you, these were all black people in that train. She was the only white person there. The only white person there. That was very racially motivated, if you ask me. Because let's turn it the other way around. Let's say a black woman walked into a train filled with white people and she was killed. The news and mainstream media will take that story through the roof. It will be everywhere. Cities will be burning down in protest. But because it happened to a white person, we don't care. Where is our humanity? It was the same reason they killed Martin Luther King. They killed Martin Luther King because he had an opinion, because he was a Christian, because he had a vision that one day we would live in a world where we are not judged by the color of our skin, but by the content of our character. And they killed a man for standing up for what's right. I know you think you're a good person, but ask yourself this. If I am jubilating because a man who spoke the truth and a man who had a different opinion from me was murdered, what does that say about the content of my character, regardless of the color of my skin? How would you feel if your father was shot and killed in front of you and your mother because somebody does not like what your father stands for? How would you feel if you sat back and watched half of America dance on the grave of your father before he's even laid to rest because he had a different opinion? This man is not Al-Qaeda. This man is not Boko Haram. This man is not Bin Laden. Like, he's not a dangerous person, but you're happy that he's dead because you feel he was saying things that were hurtful to you, instead of you to reevaluate yourself and do better. If you're one of those people who are happy that a man, an innocent man might I add, was shot and killed in front of his wife and his children because they were there and they witnessed their father bleed out and die, if you're one of those people who are happy, from the bottom of my exhausted and broken heart, I just want to say, fuck you.